If you can just make this. Good afternoon, Professor. We are in group 6 of your multicultural counseling course. The group members are myself, Amy Casto, Tracy Studdard, and Sydney Walker. Sherry was in a group, but she was not able to participate. Now we're going to go into our key points. For key point number 1, our first point is that we cannot rely on empirically supported therapies alone to treat our clients, as they are not all inclusive and they also lack validity. ESTs are not sufficient in meeting the needs of diverse groups. Sue states Western-based therapies do not meet the needs of ethnic and other cultural minorities. Social and cultural influences, spiritual and other healing processes are often ignored or pathologized. Cultural adaptations are needed to fit the needs of all clients outside Western society's bias, standards, and expectations. Additionally, diverse groups are underrepresented in trials, therefore research remains biased in the treatment of diverse populations. Successful psychotherapy relies on the proposed therapy, the knowledge, adaptability, skills of counselor, and client's characteristics. Successful psychotherapy means the proposed therapy must have therapeutic alliance with a strong goal consensus, proper evidence-based practice, as well as evidence-based relationship. In doing so, we are considering the client's background, as well as able to practice multicultural counseling and humility to help our clients reach their goals, feel heard, understood, and respected. It also encourages diverse populations to continue treatment. By being receptive, inclusive, and knowledgeable of our clients' belief systems and experiences, side by side with empirically supported therapies, we can truly help shape the lives of our clients. Now we will go into key point number 2. Our second point is the dismissal and lack of awareness of cultural belief systems by Western society. As counselors, we must become familiar with the ethnic, cultural background of our clients. Most importantly, we must take into account our clients' experiences. Unlike America's view on idolizing individuality, people of other cultures have heavy reliance on family networks to shelter the individual in distress and problem solve together, stated by Sue. Many other cultures uphold practices of healing that are very different from Western healing practices, such as religion and traditions that involve community as part of the healing process. Being aware of these differences when approaching our clients is vital in order to offer them the best therapies that serve them. Western society often dismisses the belief systems of anything that falls outside the society's norm, and in turn impose treatments that might not fit the client's needs. Being aware of our differences is vital to understanding our shortcomings and growing in ways that allow us to serve diverse groups. And this will take us to key point number 3. Our third point is that we cannot allow ethnocentric monoculturalism to bleed into our practice, as it hinders our growth as counselors and our clients' ability to feel seen, understood, and helped. Sue states the central issue here is not that the values and views held by any culture are better or worse than any other. Rather, a problem is introduced when the position of any one culture as the right one, the real one, the normal one, or the only one. Ethnocentric monoculturalism suppresses people who fit outside the cultural norms of mainstream American culture and emphasizes the social historical threat of racism in this country. If we allow ethnocentric monoculturalism into our practice, we suppress our clients, we impose standards, values, and beliefs onto our clients, which in turn further pushes them away from seeking help. Additionally, it hinders our personal growth as counselors. What we deem as normal and abnormal is biased through the lens of ethnocentric monoculturalism. Therefore, we must be aware, open-minded, and knowledgeable of other cultures, with the wisdom that not one is inferior or superior to another. Key point number 1, we will now go over that we cannot rely on empirically supported therapies alone to treat our clients.
And I am presenting the AACC Code of Ethics that support this key point number 1. The first one being ES1-500, Cultural Regard in Christian Counseling, a Call to Dignity. This Code of Ethics standard supports the idea that we have a commitment to assess all areas of a client's background and their cultural adaptations. cultural regard in Christian counseling is to proactively communicate with clients in a culturally sensitive manner. Following this standard gives us the ability to practice multicultural counseling and humility, as stated in our first key point, the means to assist clients to reach their goals, feel heard, understood, and respected. Another standard code of ethics that supports key point number 1 is ES1-510, affirming the worth and value of others. Affirming the worth and value of a client becomes their given right to be seen, acknowledged, and valued to ensure ethical care. The capability to give every client the dignity he deserves is a calling and a responsibility we as counselors owe our clients. ES1-520, cultural competency, the value of becoming familiar with a client's personal worldview to reach goals and effectively impact the counseling process shows the cultural competency each client deserves in an effort to maintain respect and understanding.
As well as in the ACA Code of Ethics, F2B, Multicultural Issues and Diversity in Supervision. According to the ACA Code of Ethics, counselors must make themselves aware and educate themselves on multiculturalism and diversity. This is a key point and is a non-negotiable while counseling. While in supervision, it is apparent that both the counselor and the supervisor are culturally aware of the client's background.
We're going to go into key point number 2, the dismissal of cultural belief systems by Western culture.
The ACA Code of Ethics, Section A, the counseling relationship, client welfare. A1D, support network involvement. Counselors recognize that support networks hold various meanings in the lives of clients and consider enlisting the support, understanding, and involvement of others, such as religious, spiritual, community leaders, family members, friends, as positive resources when appropriate with client consent. This Code of Ethics standard supports our second key point as it reinforces the importance of incorporating values meaningful to the client, goals with the assistance of family support dynamics to serve and offer the best therapies to our clients. This is crucial in developing a healthy therapeutic alliance between counselor and client in an effort to uphold practices of healing that differ from those of Western healing practices. Also in the AACC Code of Ethics, ES1-600, case management and Christian counseling, a call to soundness, comprehensive and thorough case management always considers the whole person, socially, culturally, relationally, and spiritually. This Code of Ethics standard would align with incorporating religion and traditions that involve community as a part of a client's healing process. Another standard that falls under supporting our key point number 2 is ES1-610, treatment planning. As Christian counselors, it is our duty to actively involve clients in the treatment planning process, and in doing so, identify potential support systems and resources that may be engaged and that are sensitive to sociocultural dynamics. This standard is attached to our second key point of the importance of becoming familiar with the ethnic cultural background of our clients, using these resources as a means to equip them with tools that aid in finding the best response in their treatment. This standard emphasizes the value and importance of problem solving together within and among a community and culture. ES1-610A, treatment plan considerations and principles. In addition, Article 1-610A, treatment plan considerations and principles notes that while treatment plans are developed utilizing the following principle found in this standard are sensitive to sociocultural factors and seek to treat clients within the confines of his or her worldview.
Now we will go into key point number 3, ethnocentric monoculturalism hinders client growth.
The ACA Code of Ethics, A4, avoiding harm and imposing values. Under that, A4B, personal values. Counselors are aware of and avoid imposing their own values, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. Counselors respect the diversity of clients, trainees, and research participants and seek training in areas in which they are at risk of imposing their values onto clients, especially when the counselor's values are inconsistent with the client's goals or are discriminatory in nature. This standard is a direct reflection of our third key point. We cannot allow ethnocentric monoculturalism as it applies to our own views to enter our practice. Imposing our own standards, values, and beliefs onto our clients would essentially result in pushing them further away from seeking help. This aligns with our role and purpose to not allow our own bias in favor of a normal or superior culture.
Okay, the ACA Code of Ethics, A2C, Developmental and Cultural Sensitivity. The ACA Code of Ethics speaks largely to the idea of language. Ethnocentric monoculturalism can hinder clients' growth if we are unable to fully understand the language of our clients and their cultures. Being able to collaborate with the client and the counselor relationship is so important.
The AACC Code of Ethics Standard ES1 10, Affirming Human Worth and Dignity, also supports this key point. Christian counselors recognize and uphold the inherent God-given worth and dignity of every human person. Therefore, Christian counselors practice applicable care for every client without regard to race, ethnicity, gender, sexual behaviors, or orientation. This standard keeps us aligned with being open-minded and knowledgeable about all cultures and gives us the ability to maintain wisdom and discernment that no culture is inferior or superior. ES1 100, Compassion in Christian Counseling, A Call to Servanthood, also supports this key point. First, do no harm to clients we serve would be the standard and intention that we uphold as counselors. ES1 110, No Harm or Exploitation Allowed. Christian counselors proactively avoid every manner of harm, exploitation, and unjust discrimination in all client congruent relations and help ensure the overall safety and well-being of clients. As stated in our third and final key point, ethnocentric monoculturalism comes with a responsibility to evoking continual awareness in our practices. Closed-mindedness or lack of awareness would hinder our growth as counselors and our clients' ability to be seen, understood, and helped.
The biblical similarity, the biblical context that is connected to this concept is John 4, verses 7 through 38. I used the NASB version. This is the story of the Samaritan woman at the well. Jesus, a Jew, approached a Samaritan woman, which was unheard of, but Jesus was able to counsel her in a way that she would understand. Jesus did not speak to her like he would spoke to his disciples, the little children, the synagogue, or anyone else. He spoke to her in a way that a Samaritan woman and someone who was lost would understand. He used an analogy of drinking living water, since a woman's job at this time was often to collect water, and there never seemed to be enough. But the living water, one will never thirst again. Jesus shows us as counselors how we are to speak and reach out to people in different backgrounds and cultures. Jesus, throughout his ministry, reaches thousands of people who come from all different places and experiences. This is just a prime example as to how different cultures may think and respond. And here are our references.